Okay, so this time round, our panel will be revolving around the art scene, which I would assume there will be a lot of NFTs involved, and still the metaverse, still about gaming. Okay, so let me just begin immediately. All right. So unlike our first panel, I know all of you are involved in projects that are slightly different from each other. So maybe we can take this time to tell our audience a little bit more about what you are working on and what is it specifically. How about we start from Tina?
Yeah, so hello everybody. I think I didn't want to take a lot of time to introduce what Alvin's doing, but we are.
It's your community here, man. These are your boys
I saw a
and
lot
girls.
of opinions and also our teams. We have our first, experience of Nexus World. So I think it is, it is we're building a metaverse exactly correlated with the real world. So this is very very exciting that at the end of COVID 2049 that we can actually connect the world together because that's how we are as a company, right? So today. We are kind of showcasing the first experience of Nexus World, and then where Nexus World is about really is bringing the values and also the values of the creativity and also the artistic back to the creator and the community. So that's why when we do this panel, it was actually really great to be able to having 9gag where they have been I think very big creator a decade ago. Now they're building a living land, and also like we curated a lot of I think NFT artists, Shabong. So very happy to be here as part of the host.
So what I want to share a little bit, I know you're an artist yourself, and you are also co-founder of NFT Asia. Maybe separate the two and tell us about both.
Hi everybody, my name is Siobhan and I am a 3D artist.
So we can hear you. Yep, that's great.
Hi everybody, my name is Siobhan and I'm a 3D artist based in Singapore, and I do works that are now on the NFT space, and for me I specialize in creating 3D humans that I put into my artworks. So I've been in the space now for about 2 years plus, and it's been an amazing journey. I've got my works published in Vogue, I've worked with Sotheby's, so it's been an incredible time. And in the meantime, I'm also the co-founder of NFT Asia. And for NFT Asia, we focus on empowering Asian artists to really put them out there, to have people realize that there's so much talent in the Asia space, and really to also educate and help people on board. So that's really our aim, to really push our artists out there.
All right, we'll talk more about NFT Asia later. Okay?
Hi, I'm Karen. I'm just really happy that we have all ladies on the stage. So there are ladies in Web3.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And that's rare. So I'm Karen from 9gag. We're not related to S-gag or M-gag or P-gag, just so you know. We're based in Hong Kong, and we have our Web3 venture, which is called Memeland, just started around 2 years ago. And my role is head of social, so focusing on community building and creator and content. So thanks for having me.
Okay, so my first question is actually to Karen. Right? NFT has sort of become something. If you're in the space, you hear it, you'll get excited. If you're not in the space, it could sometimes be a dirty word, right? At this point of time. So, for example, Reddit had announced they're going to make an NFT collection, and when they announced that, their users were not happy at all, right? But the NFT collection eventually became one of the most popular collection of this year, if I'm not wrong, or last year. Right, so I know 9gag also pushed out their own NFT collection. What was your community's response to that?
I think we're very different from the approach from Reddit, because as much as like we're the same sort of media platform, we basically launch it as a separate entity, and it's not really related to the 9gag ecosystem or the user experience. It's a complete different world, so that's why it's called Memeland instead of 9gag. But obviously there's an overlap on users and holders there. But I think the main feedback is that, like, obviously some people do believe in NFTs, the future of NFTs, and they see it as a digital asset they want to own, and some people don't believe in it. So same as all investments, right? How do you, what's the value in it? And if they do see the value in believing in our team, our 15 years of building. They do believe the product that we're building. So I think like there's various feedback, but I think like overall it's very positive because it's not like it's affecting their user behavior or their user journey right now. It's a complete different asset. Yeah.
All right, that's great to hear. Okay, so my next question is to Karen and Siobhan. Right? Both of you are already in careers that are very stable in the traditional sphere, Web 1 and Web 2, fashion photography and 9gag, right? So why did you choose to go into venture into a riskier space like Web 3? Siobhan, maybe you start first.
So I have a background in fashion photography and I was having a really great time doing it. I think what had made it difficult was COVID because we were all stuck at home. Obviously that made photography a little bit difficult. And for me, I had figured if I couldn't work with real models, I would just make my own. That's how I got into 3D. And as I was going to 3D, it was really for my commercial clients that I wanted to go back to and say, hey, if you need them, I have them. But when I heard about NFTs early 2021, it felt like a really good opportunity for me to like try it out. To me, I didn't really understand the crypto space, I didn't understand the NFT space. But for me as an artist, as a creative, I could see like, oh, there is a space for me in this ecosystem. Let's give it a shot and see how it goes, and then I just never looked back.
How's your experience like these past 2 years being in this space? Because I know it's not the same for all artists. Some artists are having a really hard time, some artists are having a blast. Maybe you can share a little bit.
So as much as I say that I do work really hard, I know that the timing I had gotten into the space, I was very fortunate because I had gotten in before the Beeple $69 million sales. So as I had got in, there was lesser people, I was able to sell my work, get my name out there, and then when the Beeple boom happened, I was able to ride the wave. And of course, there's a lot of hard work on being on social media. This is a very big part of Web3 where you have to be out there. And there is an expectation that if you're not out there, you're not active in the space. So it's a lot of doing that. But for me, because also that it was a new space, it was ripe with opportunities. Like for me, when I got to do the Vogue first NFT cover, if you had asked me, am I the best virtual model creator in the world? My answer is probably not yet.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, but because there was just lesser people in the space, you know, that it allowed me to stand out, and there were opportunities that I was able to grab and say, hey, I'm here, I am happy to do it, and so that to me was it. That you know, it's a new space, there's new opportunities, and if you can find a space that you can put yourself in there, go for it.
Aaron?
Yeah, so as a company has been around for 15 years in Web 2, as a media platform, it's been really difficult to monetize and balance advertising versus users. So we always thought about like, what's our next step? Is it e-commerce? Is it like something else in the business? But when Web3 came along, it's just very natural that, you know, with the experience of building community for so long, it makes so much sense to go into Web3 to build another community, which is leveraging our own experience as well, but it's just on a different world. It's on Discord, and we have 200,000 people on Discord right now. So it's very much like taking what we're good at and put into a new space where we really find value again. So I think that's like it's a really great adventure so far in the past 2 years, and we're really seeing a lot of future that's going to be a really promising future in Web3 for us.
So it feels like a natural fit. Right. Right, Tina, the next question is for you. So the Metaverse, right, is a new term. Like I was asking your CEO earlier, why did he choose to work on a company that's in this space? Why did you join a company that's in such a risky space?
Okay. Well, I think this is something to also is about more of like the personal calling as well, right? So I think similar to Karen, that I have more than a decade of experience that working in traditional like big tech companies. So I was actually in those roles that they're building on technology, the platform, and restructuring the industry. For example, music. For example, how you consume entertainment. Short video. So I was actually one of those people who is able to actually see how our product, right, one roadmap change, one algorithm update that our whole supply chain of our creators, the contents, will impact very differently because we're rich. So when I do that, like looking at careers, we're like, oh, we actually able to actually change the world. So some part of that, right? So when you do that, you can see, oh, the consumer or the end user actually enjoy a lot of value with a lot of cheaper cost, but not necessarily being balanced on the whole ecosystem. So this is where I feel like this, when you overpower one platform on centralization and things on how they determine an industry, it's not necessarily a great thing. So when I'm looking at Web3, right, there's always that improving things. And Metaverse as a concept is very, very intriguing because this is where that we, I think essentially, because some people, watch the movie of, Ready Player One, think about Metaverse is where like you go on some virtual zone and you play and everyone's digital art. Not necessarily. I feel like the value of Metaverse, it is really giving back to a lot of powers on individual, right? Whoever actually create the value, they should actually hold the power of owning the assets, determining how they can actually, interact with the rest of the ecosystem and with the user. So in a sense, for me, that Web3 is an industry and we're progressing every year, we're part of already living in the Metaverse. So when I join Metaverse with our plan, we feel like this is the vision and mission and I think the problem we're trying to solve. It is a very important personal cause for me as well. That's why I'm willing to actually spend my time. When you say that whether it's risky, I feel like this is similar as 1.1 and Web 2. Like when before you actually have figured out, it is always has some uncertainty. So I wouldn't actually call myself risky.
Okay. Before I continue this question, maybe I open up one question from our audience. If anybody has any question for our panel, now is the chance for you to raise your hand and ask a question. Anybody? Anyone has a question to ask? Okay, great. Then we'll continue. Singaporeans are always very shy. We're very shy one. Don't dare to ask. Later they'll come to you individually. Okay. Okay. I think the next question I need to ask, right, is in this space. I keep hearing this buzzword about like collaboration, right? So I hear that there's a lot of collaboration going on between artists and collectors, artists and artists, right? So for me, I've seen like Damien Hirst with his collection, Currency, where he forces his collectors to choose between a hard copy and an NFT copy, right? So that's one example. Do you guys know any example of collaboration between artists and collectors, or artists and artists even better? Anyone?
I think in a space, because it is so global, that there is a lot more connection between people and there is a lot more conversation that's happening. And it might not be just like maybe just like because it's happening such a global scale, there's a lot of connection. But other than that, the technology does allow a lot of different ways that you can play on how you want to sell your work. Like for me, when I had done a collection called Love is Love, I had allowed people to influence the end results, meaning they could choose variables on how they wanted the end result to be like. So for me, as an artist, I like art that I can see myself in. And therefore, I wanted people to be able to make a choice on how they wanted the result to be like. And I think this is one of the things that the technology allows for. And what I am excited as an artist in the space is that as all of this technology continues to improve, as an artist, it's just more tools that I can continue to play with to maybe tell my stories in different ways so that people can understand the concept of it in a more holistic manner. And I think that is super exciting.
How do you exactly allow your collectors to choose
So the collection Love is Love, basically it shows two characters, and I allow people to say choose gender and sexuality. So if they're chosen female and gay, you get female-female combination, male and straight, you get female-male, male-female combination. So in a way, they were actually influencing the end result they got.
Right, so they choose those elements before they make their NFT. Oh, interesting. Karen, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think the reason why collaboration is so important is because community plays a big part of NFT. And for example, one of our collection captains is basically a smart PFP project where it's not just a PFP and you anymore. It's like something you can change your clothes, you can change your agenda, you can change your hairstyle, and that allows a lot of collaboration with the artists that we have in the community. So it's not just like a fixed PFP anymore, and I think that's very important for us to evolve to the next stage because it's also part of your identity. So you want to represent yourself online or in this space in like a more of a customization sort of manner.
Okay, I think we move on to our last question before our time run out. There are, like I said, NFT has become a dirty word for many people, right? There are definitely some ethical challenges in this space. Do you guys face any dilemma, or do you see any huge ethical problems with artists creating on the NFT, the Web3 space?
I think that the issues that people face are not just for the technology. I think the technology is a technology. I think there are bad actors in the world that we live in. When you talk about scamming, it's a human problem. It's not a technology problem. With any technology that works, the bad actors will come. In fact, the bad actors coming means that the technology is working. And I think we also in the art space have issues with copyright, IP, but it's also the same issues that we have in the real world. So a lot of the issues that are appearing are just representations of what it is in the physical world that we live in, and many of it are in the digital world really just a reflection of what we are living in.
Yeah, but the pushback to that will be that it's very hard, or there is hardly any regulation in the space, right? So IP theft and everything is so common. One huge problem is they take artists' work artists that are not in Web3, they take their work from Web2 and then they publish it as NFTs and stuff like that. So what's your take on that?
My take is that it's not a new problem. It's still happening. In the Web2 space, people are taking prints, they're selling it, and they can do the same thing.
It's their on chain now.
Yeah, so it's the same bad actors. They're just using technology to do the same thing. And I think technology does not solve social issues. It does not solve human issues. The human bad actors will always continue to find ways that they can take advantage of a space. But you don't throw away the technology based on it. The same way there is bank spam on SMS, you don't throw the whole SMS system away. You just try and go after the bad actors, right? So obviously because the new space is ripe and new and there's a lot of people who don't understand the technology, it makes scamming easier. But I think because also the technology is new, you have to give it time for people to improve, to innovate, to change and learn how to make it better.
Yeah, I completely agree because people are still scamming people on phones right now, so it's not an issue about scamming. It's about education and mass adoption in this space. We should make sure that the technology is so seamless that there is no space or opportunity for people to exploit it in a way. But I think focusing on what we should really focus as an industry is to make sure that we're getting people on board. We're not against each other. We're actually making sure that more people understand what's going on in this space. I think that's more important to focus on.
I agree. I think I want to add on, right? So it's not just NFT, but also there's some limitations on Web3. I think primarily the reason is because I think not everyone is having this full tolerance on the change. Right? The change is where it is a process that you will have bad players who actually have a mismatch of expectations. There's no set of the playing rules in Web3 yet. But I think what we are actually creating, the future. But I think in the process, it always have some people on the space, right? So this is why I feel it's very fascinating on this industry where we just mentioned that collaboration is very important because we know, I think just by ourselves, we can really solve the problem. We want the industry to feel better. We want, NFT has actually potential value, but how the people perceive it, how do we communicate towards it, it is really about the process. I think, we have been all in space for a couple years. I think every month, every year, we're improving. We're actually having a better knowledge on how we can communicate with the community, how we can actually connect or present ourselves to, the traditional world. So for me, I still feel like it is actually very hopeful, and then being the whole week of Token 21 and looking at so many industry players out here, whoever still I think being here is really generating hoping that we can do something good for the community and to the audience on the space.
Yeah, there are more opportunity because we're not a perfect space right now, so more opportunity for us.
So let's say if I'm like an artist, or what would the advice you would be giving me if I want to be exploring this space, or I want to be involved in this space right now?
I will say give it a shot. Everything you do in life, you should give it a shot, do your best. Obviously, right now we are in the bear market, so it is difficult, and it will continue to be difficult. I think just like people will say, in the NFT space, only the top make it, but so is every single industry out there. Like if you look at the real art world out there, it's a small percentage of artists who make it. You look at the musicians, a small percentage who make it. But doesn't mean you don't try, right? So I say, because it's a new space, there are more opportunities, but you have to push and get yourself out there, and it would not be easy. And nothing in life is really easy.
Erin, Tina.
No matter it's artists or the investors, operator, I think we all just need to really have hope, keep doing, and really I think be patient. Right? I think there's so much going on, and I think being on this week, I also learned there's so many more trending things are coming out. So I think having based on what you're doing, because I think we do recognize there's a problem. But whether how far we get there and how we get there may be different from what we think 1 year ago. So for the artist, for the player, that's why I think we need to actually keep collaborating with each other and then really cheer each other out. That's what I was saying.
Personally, I think like this bear market, it's actually the best time to build because the people who are here right now are people here to stay. They're not here for a quick profit. So there are people that are here genuinely trying to build in this space right now. So make connections, and this is the best time. And maybe by the time you're ready, then that's where the market goes on, ready for you as well. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, please do.
And one last thing, just for the artists, I think for me, like if you think about art is very much a representative of the times we live in, and clearly that we are going towards a digital future. That's where art is going. And for digital art, the only way to have provenance is with the blockchain. And therefore, if you think about it in a very logical sense, this is where we are headed towards. And I think having an understanding and belief, to really believe that, makes it easier to go through the bear market, the bull market. Like it's gonna go up and down all the time, but like if you have a belief system that is long term, they're like, hey, I do believe in the technology, I believe the technology is here to stay. Bear market, bull market, you will have your emotional roller coasters, but it's easier to have when you see something that you can work towards.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, before we end the panel, let's play a very simple game. This game is called Word Blur. Alright, so I'm going to say a word, and I'm going to pass each of you a clipboard, and you can write down the first thing that pops into your head, okay? Please don't overthink it. Just the first thing. I want the raw answer. Okay?
Is this a magic trick?
No, not a magic trick. So guys, I'm not going to ask any more questions from their answers, okay? It's an open thing, open to your own interpretation. So please pay attention and look at their board when I'm going to say, okay, just a few words. Ready? First word. CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks. The first thing that comes to your mind. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tina, too long, hurry up. Alright, next. Okay, Karen, here to stay. Santa Diego. It's in Paris. It's in Paris. In the museum in Paris, right? Ah, okay. And creative. Alright, next word. Airdrops. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bullish! Yay! community. Wow, very positive. I like it. I'm like, where's my wardrobe? Where? Okay, next. Next. Pump and dump. Pump and dump. Pump and dump.
Toxic relationships.
Boo! Boo! I'm rocked. Yes. A part of the learning curve though, I have to say. Okay, last two, okay. Generative art. Generative art. Future, art blocks, and artists who code. Okay, last one. Diamond hands. Diamond hands. 钻石手。Show it. Otto, smart. The key is the question mark at the back. I love it. What's this? Unlimited dollar sign. Alright, thank you so much for your time, Karen, Siobhan, and Tina. Thank you so much. Round of applause for our panel.